Hello guys, welcome back. What do we have today is redo my January. See, this is also a little annoying because it doesn't lay flat, so it's like, I mean, not that that's a big issue, but it's whatever, you know? So this is gonna be very simple because I'm not trying to spend too much time on this, and the reason that I want to have a budget planner is because I feel like all throughout 2017 I have messed up. By the way, I'm rambling, so I should have time codes down below. Just saying. Anyway, 2017, I have messed around a lot with my budget and the structure of it and what works for my husband and me and all that stuff. And I feel like I have found a layout that could work for the entire year. Of course, with a little tweaking here and there, because you cannot expect your budget to be exactly the same every single month, especially if, like my husband and I, you have different incomes. He has a pretty steady income, but unfortunately, I do not. So let me walk you through this a little bit. So for every month, I'm gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. That's what I'm gonna have for every month. I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. Again, this is gonna be super simple. First things first is I'm gonna grab this EK Tools pen in .65. I got this in a set as a Christmas present and I love them. I love them. All right, that works for me. We're gonna let it dry before I start erasing anything. We know how that can end up. Next thing is we are going to grab this EK Tools, again, in .02. First things first is going to be a section for all the automatic withdrawals. That is where we are at with the first part of this budget. I'll go in a little bit more detail in case you guys do want to use this and want to fully 100% entirely understand my logic behind this budget organization thing. Alright, so we have the title here in French of like the month, January budget. Here, this first section is all my automatic payments. And then here I have the expected date because these are not always taken exactly on the same day. Some of them are, not most of them. Some of them are taken on the exact date every month. But some of them, it depends on how many days are in a month, and it depends on whether there was a holiday or not. So I have an expected date here, and then I'm gonna go back, obviously, when I check the bank account and write down the actual one here. And then at the very end, I will have a total. I missed doing this on previous budget planners. Like, I didn't have a total, and I realized that that's really useful. Then the second part of the page here is my bills. These are bills that I have to manually log in or schedule the payments and stuff like that. And again, they don't always have the same date. Sometimes they do. And then again, here at the bottom, the total. That is the very first page. So I can have an idea of the money that is going in and the money that is going out. Sorry, the money that is going out. This is all money going out. And then, all right, let's move on to the second part. And we are done with this page here. So this top section right here is going to be for any planned purchases that we might have coming up that month. So that way I'm aware, for example, if our car insurance is due that month, then that's going to go there. Or if we are thinking about traveling, that's going to go there, you know, things like that. Next, I have a balances section, which I realized that it is a very important section to have. And it's nice to have it all in one section rather than, oh yeah, I know they're there, but you have to log into like 5 different websites to get balances on like an additional 5 different things each or something like that. Here we have the debt section and then we have the account section. For this one, the total is going to be in red again, and for this one, the total is going to be in green because this is money that we have, right? I check the balances on the 1st and on the 15th. And then our income. Because like you saw in my bullet journal setup, I have a tracker for our income throughout the year, and I really want to see that graph come to life. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is keeping up with this, right? So this is going to be our income, what's expected for me and what's expected from him, which again, his is pretty stable all the time. Mine, unfortunately, is not. So I do like to know how that went throughout the year. And then we have the actual. Let's move on to almost the last part, you guys, almost the last part. And this is going to be something that I'm going to be doing monthly. I'm probably going to set up like 2-3 months in advance. So that way I don't have to worry about it every month. And I'll make changes every 2-3 months if I feel like I need to make changes. But all right, let's get started with this one so I can get to editing the 2 videos today that I have to edit. So let me walk you through what I'm doing here because it can be a little complicated. It doesn't have to be. I just really enjoy doing this kind of stuff. Basically, this is going to be like my trackers for my spending. I used to have cash envelopes for all these categories, but now I have switched. I have changed my mind and I have said, you know what? I only need cash envelopes for our pocket money to make sure we're not going crazy on our expenses. And for these, I'm just going to keep track of them on our checking account because it's just easier that way, because it has happened way too many times that we go to the grocery store, but we forgot the envelope for the groceries. So we use the money in the checking and then we have to do transfers and it's just a mess. So it's just easier to, for the movies, the groceries, and the eating out, to keep track of it on our bank account, which doesn't matter, like, which works out anyway because I do keep the receipts and I do keep track of them, meaning the expenses. I keep track of the expenses, and that is something that I am going to keep in my actual bullet journal. All right, so our movies for the month is $60, our groceries for the month is $200, and our eating out for the month is $200 because my husband and I really enjoy eating out. What can I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So each line represents like $10. And then we have the groceries, which is just a little bit wider. I was going to do them like 4, but then it would have to fit right next to each other. Anyway, long explanation short, I'm just going to do. So this is basically going to be like a graph to see how well or how bad I did on these expenses. Super long break there. I had lunch and everything after a long phone call. Anyway, so movies, it is $60, and these are divided into 2 because it's the 1st and the 15th of the month, right? You do it per pay period. So if you are getting paid every week, you would want to do all this, like wherever I have the 1st and 15th, you would want to do it probably every week. So you might have 4 weeks, you might have 5 weeks, depending on the month or depending on how you count that stuff. So I'm gonna keep track here of, say, for example, if I end up spending like $80, so then this is gonna probably go up to down here, right? And then I'm gonna be able to visually say, oh man, I spent way more than I was supposed to. And that is the plan as well for groceries and eating out. Of course, my goal is to stay way below this every single month, so that way any extra money can go to our debt. And now we're going to move on to the very last part. And I'm very excited about this part because this is the sinking fund section, and I am super excited about this because there is a video that, so the main planner girl that inspired me to even like do all this when I started doing it on my inkwell press was Jen Plans, and I am going to link her channel below because while she might not have a ton of videos, her videos are 100% helpful, and they just give you all kinds of information and ideas, and they kind of help you like get organized and adapt maybe her method to your lifestyle and the way I did it, you know, move things around here and there and experiment and all that. So definitely check her out. We are going to go back to our usual EK tools in point 35 and point 2. These are awesome. These are EK tools journaling pens. I think I've already said it like 1,000 times, but yeah, let's get to it and then we will talk about them.
I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another.
So for sinking funds, I have, and this I copied exactly not exactly, take out the check marks, and I copy that exactly from Gen Plans. You have your starting balance, you have whatever it is that you're going to add to each sinking fund. I added a check mark. For example, let's assume that I add like $200 to my car's sinking funds. Well, I'm going to write down the $200, but I used to have to like wait until I physically or actually added it to be able to write it down. Otherwise, I would get confused. So I want to be able to write it down, and then once I actually do transfer the amount or add it to the sinking funds, I do a check mark to know that it is actually in the sinking funds. This is the subtraction column, so whatever it is comes out. Say, you know, you had to pay your car tax this month, so then you write that down there, and then you end up with your ending balance, which is here, which I want to make sure that once I migrate it over to the next month, I can put a check mark next to it, and I know that it has been moved. To go into detail for the sinking funds, these are really cool because I think they vary for everyone. Everyone can have entirely different type of sinking funds, and after tweaking mine, adding things, separating things, merging things, I think this is what's going to work the best for us. Number one thing that I had to do is separate my sinking fund categories into my needs and my wants. And that is something that you always want to do when it comes to spending. Is it something you need, or is it something that you want? Because if it's something you need, like for example, paying your apartment rent, then that should probably take priority over maybe you're thinking about going to a concert that you really want to go to, that kind of thing. And I was getting a little confused when trying to add money to my sinking funds because they were all mixed, and I was like, okay, well, I really should add it to this one, but this one is not really that important. So this time around, I decided to separate them into needs and wants. That way I know that, okay, what I need to do, like ideally, yes, I will add funds to all of them, all the categories. But if for any reason my income is just not that great this month, then that means I need to focus on these. And these we can always leave for the next month or however long necessary. That is it. That is all we're going to do, and I'm going to replicate the same thing right over here. Most likely what I will do is this is going to be a notes page, kind of like a reflection page. Okay, maybe I should add this, maybe I should change this, blah, blah, blah. That kind of thing, and then I'll add it here because I should have enough pages in this little notebook for that. To recap, we have our automatic withdrawals for the expected dates and amounts, and then the actual ones, same exact thing for bills, the due dates and the amount I paid and when I paid it, totals for both. Next page, do we have any big plan purchases or small plan purchases this month that for some reason are not included in the rest? That's going to go here. Our balances, because it's very important to always check them every month. You can check them every day, of course, but I think that the 1st and the 15th is good enough for me at the moment. So we have balances for our debt right over here, a total amount, balances for our accounts, and then a total amount here as well. Finally, at the very bottom, the income. And then we have our cash envelopes, which we switched to doing 5 and only doing 1. Well, I guess you can count 2 actually, because he gets his own for his pocket money and I get my own for my own pocket money, a total amount again. And then we have our other categories that used to be cash envelopes but are now just going to be tracked this way in my expenses. And here we have our movies, groceries, and eating out. This is the total per month. And then we moved on to the very last part, which is the sinking funds. And these are separated into the need categories with the total amount and a want categories with the total amount as well. We have our starting balance, our adding amount, a check mark if I did add it, how much was taken out from that sinking fund, what is the ending balance for that sinking fund, and a check mark once it has been migrated to the next month. And that is it, you guys. That is my budget planner. I'm very, very optimistic and hopeful on this because number one, I get to use a notebook that I didn't think I was going to use, and number two is still something way smaller than carrying an inkwell press around. If I happen to switch it up for the next month in any way, I will make sure to film it again. But if you guys don't see another video of this again, chances are that it is exactly this same format still, which is good because it means that it's been working out great for us. But that is it, guys. Thank you so much. I have so much to edit today. I thank you for subscribing to my channel. If you're new here, I hope you like everything you've been seeing. And I hope that you get inspired steal any ideas you want, make your life more organized, make your life more fun, you know, if you're into this stuff, because this to me is fun. So thank you guys. Have a great day or night wherever you are, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye guys.